Yay, we are live. Welcome to
Good
Soul Sister
morning.
Cafe with Krista and Ava. Yes, it's morning for Krista.
Yes.
It's lunchtime for me in
It's a really
Ontario.
nice day here today.
It is
Really,
beautifully
it's
sunny
really
here
sunny.
too.
Yeah, there's clouds, but it's quite sunny.
Yeah.
So,
Has it been overcast there for the last few days?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
find
here
here
too.
get a lot of the gray, just kind of hazy sky a lot here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been that way. It's been that
Uh,
way. I've seen a
uh-huh.
lot of people complaining about that. But to me, it's like we've lived so many different places, honestly, that, you know, some places it rains 23 feet a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thunder Bay, it can get,
Mm-hmm.
there's times, as you know, where you are in Alberta, it can get as cold as like minus 40 sometimes. You just kind of got to roll with the weather because you ain't controlling it.
No, we aren't.
We
Yeah,
aren't. Good
yes, Kevin.
point.
Somebody else is.
You heard
Be
Kevin
like
say that?
Kevin. Kevin knows.
It's true, though. It's
It
true.
is true. But
Well, and you're wondering who's up. Well, not necessarily who's up to it, but for what purpose, right?
what purpose
For
this
what
time?
purpose? Yeah, for what purpose this time? So
Exactly. So,
yeah. So what are we gonna talk about today? Like we're just kind of rolling with this right now.
well,
So let's just
I was kind of thinking maybe a few grounding tips. I find a lot of people are really ungrounded right now, including myself, which my friend
yeah.
so nicely pointed out this morning that I'm very up in the higher energies today, which is fine. I like being here once in a while.
Don't you love
Um,
having those friends that'll just be so honest with you? They'll be like, you know
she's
what, by the way, you're just really sucking today.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's my friend from when I was 9, so she's seen me
okay.
on all different levels
Right.
and stages. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's allowed to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Only her though, right?
there's a few people that can get away with it, but I know when she says it, she's saying it because I need to settle down. So she's pretty
Yeah.
honest with me that way. Like we're very honest with each
It's
other, always
coming
have
from a
been.
place of love, right, Krista?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I wanted to talk about first would be crystals. A lot of people are having a hard time grounding, like I said. So
Yeah.
if you maybe some tourmaline, black tourmaline, grounding and repels negative energy. You could get some red jasper, which is also very grounding and for your root chakra. Um, what else? I like
Not to mention they're
bronzite.
beautiful. Not to mention they're
Oh,
beautiful.
yes,
It's
they
so
are very
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Bronzite is one that it will get rid of negative energy, but it will also bounce it back to wherever it came from. So if someone's
What?
sending, yes,
That's
so
like
if
a
someone,
total payback, like payback crystal. Like I'm gonna get
yeah,
you back.
and it's really beautiful too. It's like a chocolatey brown, and it's got like uh, almost like flecks of bronze in it, bronze colored flecks of like it looks almost like sparkles. But yeah, it'll bounce back whatever's being directed at you. So a lot of times I just carry it if I'm in a place where I know there's going to be a lot of people, because if you're in tune with energy at all, if you're in a place like
Mhm.
that, you're going to be
Mhm.
bombarded. So it's best to get ready before you get there.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Let me digress then. That's not the payback crystal then. That's
It
more of
is so
the
too.
it's more of the
It is so
mirroring
too.
crystal,
Yes, that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I like it because it's like a tourmaline with an extra kick.
Right,
I
right.
think
Yeah.
that's just my personal opinion. And then if I want to draw in protection and grounding, but also protection from the universe,
Right.
selenite. So if you carry selenite and tourmaline together, it's
Right.
a very good balance of higher vibration and lower vibration
Hmm.
grounding and protection. So,
Cool. Yeah, but here's the
so
thing. How do you decide which one to carry around? Because if you go carrying around all these crystals, like it's got to be heavy. Like it's.
I often tell people that the easiest way to do that would be through a bracelet, because that way you can get the benefit of a lot of stones without carrying the weight of the stones, or having one randomly fall out of your bra when you bend over and everybody's wondering where the rock fell from.
Oh my God. You know what? That has actually happened to me. I used
Yes.
to just sometimes shove a little
Yeah.
stone in my bra
Yeah.
or something when I was
Yeah.
working. Oh yeah, like
Uh-huh.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, it's very embarrassing. But yeah, the bracelet solves the whole deal. But as far as choosing, I choose by hovering my hand above whatever it
Hmm.
is.
So you get a feel
But
for the energy when you put your hand above it.
yeah, like if I go in the room and I say, or like especially for bracelets, I'll line up 3 or 4 of them and I'll just kind of glide my hand above them
Hmm.
and see which one kind of pulls me.
So basically, what you're saying then, okay, because we gotta talk like we got people watching who are like beginners in this,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So if they were to do that, what
Hmm.
they need to do is they need to trust what they feel,
Oh, for
right? So
sure.
if they
Yeah.
get that, even that little nudge of, oh, I like that one, like, oh, then they need to
Yeah.
listen to that, right?
Yeah, and if they find that they can feel something, but they're not
Yeah.
really sure whether it's, I need to use this or not,
Yeah.
just rub your hands together because that activates your own energy,
Hmm.
and then hold them for a minute, do your little prayer, whoever you want to pray to, and then try again. And
Hmm.
the pull that you felt earlier should be stronger.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. But
And sometimes you
ultimately, it
need
still
to.
has to come down to listen to what you,
Yes, you have to definitely
right?
trust what you're feeling, right? It's like
Yeah.
to me, what I would describe it as is, it almost, to me, it feels how I think electric current might feel.
Oh, okay. So almost like a
And then,
little,
yeah, like a
yes,
like a
electrical current.
slight buzz.
Right, right,
And
right.
then when I get to the card or the stone or whatever I'm trying to choose,
Hmm.
it'll feel like a break in the current.
Oh, okay.
So
So
it's like
that's
a
what you've
almost like a
learned to
that's what I do. But
notice is your message, right? That you
yeah,
have to listen to.
but
Okay.
everybody needs to tweak
All right.
their own hints, right? So
Yeah.
that might not work for someone else. Same with cards. When I choose cards, I choose it by feel, but I have friends who can look and a card will look brighter or different to them.
Okay.
I've never been able to do that except for
Because
maybe
everybody
once or
has
twice.
different
Right.
gifts,
So
right?
you
Some
have to
people are very
hone in.
visual.
So you
Yes.
have to hone in on what your body
Hmm.
notices.
Right. Right. Cool. And
Yes.
okay, but here's the thing. Now let's back up a little bit because you've been doing this for a while.
Mhm.
So what I would like to know, I think it'd be good to get to know your story a little bit. So I'd like to understand how you came to be someone who knows so much about crystals and the energy of crystals and stuff. How did you come to that?
Uh, well, like I said, I wasn't doing anything before I moved to Alberta
Hmm.
in 2007. In 2009, I think, I went to an angel course, and it was basically just to learn about specific angels and what they do for you. And I thought,
Hmm.
oh, I love angels. That was right up my alley. I've always been really attracted to angels, and I used to collect them. Actually, I had a
Really? Did
whole
you like see
cabinet.
them often? Like,
No, just I like the cherub angels and whatnot. I used to have the
yeah,
cabinet full of because I was just drawn to. I knew there was more. I didn't know
yeah,
what the more was, but I just knew there was more.
of
So I
course.
went to this course and I met some ladies that were kind of in the same type of thing that I was into and made some really good friends. But also it kind of just opened that door a little bit. And
Hmm.
then it's true when you oh, I lost my video. When you feel like you need help and you're putting it out there and you're saying, oh, just please send me somebody to help me with this.
Yeah.
They just appear. I met somebody through my brother-in-law who was into all the spiritual stuff and he just like opened my eyes to a whole new world, and it was just what I was waiting for. It was like all these interesting things, and then I started reading, and everything that caught my attention I had to know more about it, and so I'm often people often describe me as I don't do one thing. I kind of dabble a little bit in everything, only because I find that I'm interested in too many things just to be worried about one thing. So I like using the pendulum. I like reading energy. I like playing with my crystals. Oh, are you still there? Hello? I'm not sure where Ava went. This is uncomfortable. I could sit here and talk to myself, but nobody wants to see that.
No, we're back. Can you hear me now?
I was like, yes. I was like, oh no, she left me alone. Now, what do I do?
It's my own damn fault. I take full responsibility. I actually clicked the wrong button. I
Oh, okay.
apologize. I'm so
Oh, okay.
sorry. Sorry
That's
about that.
okay.
But that's what happens when
Um,
you're doing it live. You got to
yeah,
roll with the
you just have
punches,
to,
right?
exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
Okay,
So
so
now I
carry
forgot where
on.
I was. I can't remember where I was now.
You were telling me how you took an angel course
Yes,
and
and
it
I met
opened
some
you up.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then my brother-in-law introduced me to somebody who was into all this, a lot of the native beliefs.
Hmm.
And I was just like, I was so amazed and so um, just everything just seemed to be, I just wanted more of everything. I wanted to know more
Hmm.
of everything. So I would read and I would look up things, or if I needed to um, know something, I would just bounce it off of these new people I met. And it kind of created like a little bit of a tribe. And that's what we need. We need somebody who will be with us to say,
Yes.
what do we need today? Anybody have any problems today? Anybody want to work on anything? And I have a few groups, like group chats that I'm a part of, and that's what
Yep.
we do. We just bounce ideas off of each other, and that's the only thing you can do to make it grow, right? Because you're
You
not,
have a
unless you,
community.
right,
Yeah.
unless you have somebody to say, yes, that's totally what I'm feeling, then
Hmm.
you're often sitting there going, am I imagining this, or is this really
Right.
happening?
So what you're saying, what I hear you saying then, Krista, is that it's been really important for you to develop these skills and
Hmm.
develop your intuition as well. But
Yes.
it has been really important to you to have a community of people that you could depend on to give you
Hmm.
some feedback, to validate some of those things you were
Hmm.
feeling. Because I know
Yep.
initially, too, for me as an empath, I mean, I knew I was feeling things, but I wasn't sure. Like there was times like many years ago where I would question, go, is this just all in my head? Like, am I just
Hmm.
making this shit up? You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is really, really nice when you're developing and cultivating, right?
Yeah.
These skills that you have someone who can give you that sort of feedback and support, right?
Definitely. For
Yeah.
sure. And with this moon, I'm finding with my community of people that I chat with, everybody's been having a rough time for like over a week. All
Yeah.
we're being bombarded with, I'm gonna say past dramas and traumas because
No, you don't say.
yes, yes, it's and people are like they're freaking out, and I'm like, it's just calm down. Like it's
Yeah.
just the energy. I feel like it's a time of a full moon is time of letting go, yes. However, I feel this one is the bigger one. This is like I don't know if it's because it's in Scorpio, which is like the underworld and kind of all the heavy stuff that you don't want to talk about and
Mm,
whatever. But I feel
mm.
like it's really a time for letting go of all that stuff. And I mean old stuff. Like I'm talking like
Even
early
past life
teens,
stuff.
early teens,
Yeah.
or even younger, like just whatever traumas are back there. But some of them aren't
Yeah.
traumas. Some of them are just memories and the cycle's over.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed through talking with a few friends of mine, we seem to be on, we in particular seem to be on some kind of a cycle. And so now I'm asking people, have you noticed that you're on a cycle? Because my cycle seems to be a 17-year cycle
Interesting.
where I lived in my home with my family for 17 years. Then I lived in the next community for 17 years. This year is calling out 17 years in August to where I am now. And then when I
So
look
where are you
back on
moving
other,
next?
I don't know. And then when I look back on other personal experiences in my life, I'm seeing the 17 there.
Really?
So now I'm like, okay. And then my friend, she's 12. Hers is like a 12-year cycle. But both of our cycles, a lot of our things are coming up this year for both of us.
Interesting.
So that's why I think it doesn't really matter what the amount of years is. This
Hmm.
is the cycle ending year.
Well, interesting. I just want to point this out because I've watched a few of Greg Braden's interviews. Kevin and I have been watching them the last couple weeks, or
Hmm.
last week. And he actually has a video on his own YouTube channel where he talks about life is actually more cyclical than it is linear, right? Like
Hmm.
we tend to think of things as like this straight
Yep.
line, like a timeline or whatever, but
Yeah,
timelines actually come in many, many different forms. But
exactly.
he talks about it actually being very cyclical,
Huh. That's
life.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
So
interesting.
I thought that was interesting that you're actually noticing that pattern. Now,
Yeah.
that makes me wonder because I'm starting to go, I want to look at my own
You're
life.
gonna start counting your years, aren't you?
Damn, what's the cycle? What is this cycle? You know
There
what?
is a cycle.
I'm gonna meditate on that later because I want to know what it is, right? Just out of curiosity.
And that 17, that 17 year for me was
Mm,
so many things. Like I moved out, I went to college, I was on my own, I got my first job, I had I had an apartment with two other girls. It was all these new huge experiences for me.
yes, big life shifts.
Yeah. So whatever year that is, I think if you think about your own individual experiences,
Hmm.
you'll realize what year that was, and then you'll
Hmm.
start thinking about, or you could think about the most recent thing, this huge blow up of sorts, not
Yeah.
necessarily like violent or anything like that, but just a blow
Hmm.
up of um where is this coming from? This, I thought
Hmm.
it was dead and buried, and here it is again right up in my face.
But you
So
know
I'm
what? I love that. I'll tell you why,
yes.
Krista, because as a therapist for the last 20 years, I've always told my clients that if something is coming up, if something is coming into your mind,
Yep.
again, even old shit,
Yep.
an old experience, whatever it might be, if something is coming up, it's because it's seeking to emerge to be acknowledged.
Yep.
Right. So
For
it's
sure.
coming up so that you can actually take a look at it, and if it is something that you need to heal, then there's your opportunity to heal it,
Exactly.
right? So your
Yeah.
mind has a way, your soul, if you want to call it whatever you want to call it, your soul, your higher self, your unconscious mind, whatever.
Yeah.
It has a way of showing us, doesn't it?
Hmm. It
It
does.
always has a way of showing us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just
We
have
just have
to
to
you just have to
listen.
go with it. And
Gotta
that's
listen.
like, even when I did my grid this week for like 2 or 3 days straight, the only thing that was coming to me was throw that luggage up on the table and unpack it, because it's time to unpack.
Yep.
You don't want to unpack it. It's all the stuff that you didn't want to deal with, but it's all in the same box, and it needs to be
Mm,
done.
yep.
Like it's that type of, and it's totally sacral and solar plexus, which
Hmm.
also, if you're having trouble in those chakras, it's going to stop your grounding, but it's also going to stop your other chakras. So basically, you stop right exactly where those chakras aren't working properly. So
Right.
until you get them moving, the energy's not moving at all.
Right. And when energy is stagnant, what happens? It's the same thing that Kevin and I talked about earlier. Dis-ease can start to be created in the body, right?
Oh, for sure. Totally goes to
Yeah.
physical.
Yeah.
If you don't heed the warning.
Right.
And that's the problem, because we don't listen, right? So your body
Hmm.
says, please stop, please stop, please stop. And then all of a sudden you're like on your back for a week because
Because
you
you
didn't
push
listen.
through it. You just
Yeah, you
kept
can do
going.
it.
You
Just
can
take
do
a
it.
break.
Keep
You'll be
going.
fine. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So your body is always going to tell you when, okay, I've warned you this many times. You
Yes.
haven't listened to me. So now I'm going to make you sit still by making you ill.
I'm going to scream at you because at first I might have just been whispering,
Hmm.
just going,
Just a
by the
suggestion.
way,
But you
suggestion.
might want to
You
stop.
might
Yeah.
want to calm the hell down there because,
Hmm.
like it's not working for you and it's making you feel yucky. And
Exactly.
so the body tells us, the body always tells us, it
It
always
does.
tells us, the body's like telling us. And if we don't listen to the whispers, then it might get a little louder,
Yep.
right? So what started out as, oh, hmm, ah, that doesn't feel very good. But anyway, I just keep going, whatever, life goes on,
Yeah.
right? Got to keep chasing after those kids and got to keep
Yeah.
going to work, even if I don't feel good.
Definitely.
And then next thing you know, the body's screaming a little louder, going, excuse me, you aren't listening to me. And next thing you know,
Hmm.
it's like, oh, damn, my back. I got to call the chiropractor. Holy
Yeah.
shit, my back's
Yeah.
hurting. Right. And
Yeah.
then what
I was,
happens if you don't? If you don't take care of it,
yeah.
right?
Then you end up
Then
like
the
me.
body, yes. Then you're going to be like
Yeah.
walking down the stairs, slip on your ass,
Yeah.
and you're going to be out. Like that'll be it. You're on your back
Yeah.
for 2 weeks.
And out of survival mode from not being grounded
Hmm.
after, becoming a single mother and having 3 children to raise on my own, um,
And you're still alive to
you
tell the
you you need
story and
to
still saying,
you need to lock down and you need to just do it. There's
yeah.
no time to deal with your emotions and everything else that's going on. And I've always said to myself, okay, just a few more minutes and then you can take a break. Just get this done and then you can take a break. Just get this
Yeah.
done and then you can take a break.
Yeah.
And that has not served me well
Well, I
because
think
because
that's
my
been
list of
part of
things
our
to get
upbringing.
done is always big.
But that's been part of our upbringing, Krista. Like,
Yeah.
look at our programming, really, as humanity. We have been taught to push through. We've been taught
Hmm.
to ignore what we feel. We've
Walk it
been
off.
taught, yeah, just carry on, just
Yeah.
carry
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And, it's all in your head, right?
Yeah.
That too,
Yeah.
sometimes. But really, I mean, and science has even proven this, right? That
Yep.
it's not just, well, it is in our head as far as it's our mind. Our mind's not in our head, but we won't even get into that right now.
Yes,
But the
exactly.
point
Yeah.
is that science is even showing now that what we feel, we're feeling for a reason. And they have actually proven that the
Hmm.
body will speak to you. Like they
Hmm.
can prove this stuff now, right?
Yep.
And so when the body's speaking to you, again, it's one of those things where it's like if you're gonna ignore it, then you might be okay right now, but you keep on doing that over and over and over again,
Hmm.
it's going to keep showing up, right? So you're
Definitely.
kind of go, okay, this is something that obviously I need to look at, and it's
Yeah.
time to deal with it, right? So,
Yeah.
and how did you learn though that crystals are very helpful in that regard?
Um, I I think I just kind of stumbled onto it because at first I was not into crystals.
Hmm.
I was making pendulums, and I mean I had, you know, probably what I used for my reading is probably about what I had. And
Right.
then I went to a rock store, like a crystal store, and I picked up a raw crystal, one that wasn't polished or cut. It was just raw. And when I touched it and I felt the energy from it, I was like, wow, like it's not at all the same as touching a polished rock. And and then I realized that when I would touch one, I kind of got a reaction out of me. And when I would touch a different kind, it would get a reaction out of me. So really the first one I did really anything with was I had a piece of fluorite and I was trying to meditate. I have a hard time meditating because I can't calm my mind enough to do it. So often me meditating is zoning out with music or having a bubble bath and listening to like wind chimes or something like that because I can't go there. But I found
That
that I
sounds
was
like
able
a
to get
belief
there.
to me. Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. Like I found I was having a hard time getting there, so I don't
Sure.
know. So then I grabbed this fluorite because it was supposed to be for third eye.
Hmm.
So I started meditating with it on my third eye. And then instantly I noticed a difference.
Hmm.
because it was opening up that area where that information is supposed to come in.
Hmm.
The area that I was too afraid to open because I
Oh,
didn't want
imagine that.
because I didn't want to be the weird kid, right? Right? Like it's like you just I don't know. And then
And
I've
sometimes it just
noticed
comes in anyway, whether you want it to
right,
or not.
exactly. But it's like you just know after a while, right? You just know what's going to work for you.
Yeah.
And so you've got to explore those things. Like right now is the time for getting into that inner child, healing all that stuff that we're hanging on to
Yeah.
because we need to get ready for what's to come. This is we're letting go of the old stuff. This is our new spiritual beginning world.
Right.
Not the horrible stuff that people are saying and doing. We need to come together as a community of spiritual people who are looking to help other spiritual people,
Well,
not
we
help
we have.
against what's happening.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
So I agree with you, and I see that, right? I see that
Hmm.
happening where there seems to be nowadays, there's so many more people who are willing to look within,
Yeah. Yeah,
right? Who
exactly.
are
Yeah.
who are really open about admitting, right, that they understand there's something way more to us
Hmm.
than just this meat suit, right? Like we're
I think
not just this physical body. There's so much more, so much more.
and I do believe 100% that even though all this bad stuff has happened the last 4 years, a lot of people have come into their journey
Oh yes,
just
for
because they're
sure.
so alone. Like we were so alone for so long, and some people were like totally alone. And
Yes.
what else can you do but go inward?
Well, it drove that point home, didn't it? It really
Hmm.
showed, I think, collectively, I think it showed how important community is to our
Oh,
human family.
definitely.
Right?
Yep, for
It's
sure.
so important,
Hmm.
so important, right? And
Definitely.
being not even allowed to stand within a few feet of one another during that
Yes.
COVID time. We won't talk about that right now, but like I really do think that it really showed people how important that is to them. So that
Well,
was
my
the
belief
blessing
is
of that, right? Is that it showed
my
us.
my belief is when you're with somebody, you're within their aura. Like if
Right.
you're talking to someone or visiting with someone or
Mhm.
even sitting beside someone, you're within their aura. And
Mhm.
all the 6 foot thing did was keep you out of each other's auras.
Yes.
And all that does is create disconnect.
Yes.
That's the only thing it did. It didn't do
Yeah.
anything else it was supposed to do. So all
Yeah.
it did was separate our energies so that we feel alone
And what
and
happens when
abandoned.
people feel alone,
They
right?
get upset, they get depressed,
Yeah.
they start acting in bad behaviors usually.
Hmm.
They become ungrounded
Yes.
and they start their survival mode.
Yes. It
And the survival
really it
mode sometimes is
yes.
really not good for a lot of people.
Well, I mean, when you're in survival, what ends up happening is your frontal lobes actually shut off, and your frontal lobes are where your higher critical thinking are, right?
Yeah. And also
Where it
your
happens.
pineal.
Yes. Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
So your
So I
empathy for
mean,
others.
yeah, exactly. So when you're getting in survival, you're going to your lower chakras, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not,
Yeah.
and yeah, and and you're right. It makes people behave well in survival ways, which is survival is you got to eat, you got to drink water, right? You got to
Mm-hmm.
protect yourself,
Yeah.
right? And you're on alert and you're in fear, right? It's
Yes.
it's coming from a place of
Yeah.
fear. So
Yeah.
it doesn't serve us well. I mean, it has its
No,
purpose, but it doesn't serve us well to be in that state for
definitely
long
not.
periods of time. Absolutely
No,
not. Yeah.
no.
So, what, Crystal? I know that you wanted to talk about, really talk about grounding, because especially with all the energies that we're feeling on the planet right now. So let's talk about that. Let's dive into that.
Well, my personal thing that I would do is stones just because I'm connected to them already.
Yep.
So you can do it through crystals. You can do it through meditation,
Hmm.
meditating that you're taking your roots down through your body and out through your feet and planting them down into Mother Earth,
Hmm.
anchoring them right down to the center. You could sniff some essential oils that smell like trees. You could go outside and get your feet in the dirt do some gardening.
One of my favorite.
Even if you have like a few little flowers in a little pot, like that can be your grounding. You can
Mm-hmm.
ground into that dirt.
Mm-hmm.
And the more grounded we are to this earth, the more our other chakras will be able to thrive. Because you can't do anything else until you're grounded. Because then you're always in flight mode and you're not working on any of the other chakras because you're too scared to work on anything.
Well, it's like an electrical wire, right?
Yeah,
If electricity is not grounded, then it's
yeah,
kind of all haywire and all over the
exactly.
place,
Yeah.
and right.
So
So
one minute you could be like really out of
yeah,
balance, like mentally.
yeah,
The next minute you could be ready to snap. The next minute you'd be crying in a ball in the corner
yeah,
because you need to balance the energies. So
yeah.
when I was taught about chakras was basically what it would look like is like a top. You spin a top on a table like a toy,
Oh yes, yeah.
and it spins around. So apparently each one of our chakras is doing that. They're spinning tops. So
Mm-hmm.
if your tops aren't spinning at the same speed and in the same direction, then
Mm-hmm.
they're going to smash into each other and it's going to stop both of them, right?
Kind of like that wire that's bouncing all over the
Yep.
place, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's totally what it is. So even if you can't like get things straightened out right away, there's you can, work on your chakras by wearing colors that like if you know you're having a problem with your sacral, which is where we hold all our emotional traumas,
Mm-hmm.
then wear some orange.
Mm-hmm.
Put some orange nail polish on, wear an orange t-shirt. If you're finding that you're feeling really ungrounded or unsafe, wear your reds and your blacks.
Hmm.
Like you just go with the chakra and build it up is all you can do.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I know
Mm,
that every chakra has sort of a color associated
yes,
with it, right?
yes.
So the sacral chakra has the color orange. The root chakra
Yep.
is the lowest, though, and that's red, right?
Red, orange. Sometimes it's orange
Yeah,
or black. Sorry, I don't know why I said orange.
yeah.
So, um, here's a picture.
Come closer. Oh, yes. Okay. Come down a little bit. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Oh,
So
this one.
red,
There we go.
orange, then yellow is the solar plexus, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah. So that's sort of like just below the breast. And then in the chest
Yep.
is, oh, what color is that?
So that's green, the heart chakra.
Okay. And
And
then the
then right
throat.
above that throat, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a aqua blue or a light blue. And
Okay.
then your third eye would be either purple or royal blue.
Mm-hmm.
And then your top chakra, like your crown chakra,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes amethyst, sometimes clear quartz or some other higher. There's not
Mm-hmm.
just, I know people know certain stones as chakra stones,
Mm-hmm.
but every stone has it's part of a chakra.
Right.
So I could use any green stone pretty much for heart chakra. I
Mm-hmm.
could use pink stones for heart chakra,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you would go by what does that stone feel like to you? Does that feel like something you would need? I've never really been drawn to red jasper.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm usually pretty grounded. But if I were to ground, it would be with the tourmaline.
Okay. So
But
for
that's just
you,
my
you found
but
that to
that's
work
my
best for you.
preference.
Right. Right.
Same with a lot of people. I tell them to use a tiger eye for the solar plexus. Not sure. I'm confident. I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I know what I want. I
Interesting.
prefer citrine, which is the stone that people would mostly use for it, but I
Mm-hmm.
like it because it's my birthstone.
Ah. Okay.
But for other people, I tell them to use tiger eye because tiger eye also has a bit of protection in it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, interesting. See, I don't claim at all to be an expert on the crystals at all. In fact, I don't,
me either.
yeah,
There's
like
always more.
I don't necessarily even I haven't necessarily used them much in my healing work for myself and or when I work with clients. But
Hmm.
that said, I'm sitting here with a bowl full of of crystals that were
Yep.
gifted to me because I love them. I think they're beautiful. I am drawn to them. I really am.
Yep.
Um, I just don't have the knowledge of knowing what to use when and for what. And I would just more or less, if I had one in my presence, I would just go with what I felt, right? What, like you said, what I felt drawn
That's the
to.
best way.
So, yeah.
So if you were to, like, if somebody asked me, what crystal do I need? I
Mhm,
would tell them to go into the store,
mhm,
walk around, don't look at any names. Walk around, don't say, oh, I think I need to get an amethyst. No, I
right.
want you to walk around, hover your hand over the stones, look at the stones, pick up the stones, then decide which ones you want. Write the
Mhm,
name down when you buy it to make sure that you know what you have in your hand. Then
mhm.
when you get home, read about it, and I can guarantee you it's something you need.
Yes, something you need in that at
Like
that time.
100%.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
Every
I've gone in before, and there's one, I think it's called Ghost Light. I might be pronouncing it wrong. And then there's one called Still Bite. And they were both tumbled. And I picked up the Ghost Light first, and I'm walking around the store, and then I found this other one, this Still Bite. And I said to the guy that owned the store, I said, these belong together. And he said, what do you mean? And I'm like, I don't know. I think they need to be beside each other. And he goes, really? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. So
Mm,
he did put them beside each other. And then when I got home and looked them up,
yeah.
it paired them. It paired them.
Okay.
I'm like, this
Okay.
is crazy because it's one that it brings in the light and it's high vibration and stuff, but it's a lot of dream work, which I find a lot
Mm,
of people do because we aren't comfortable getting the information and trusting the information that we're getting. A
yes.
lot of times we'll get our information in dreams.
Hmm.
So if you're unsure of your messages or if you're unsure whether to believe it or not, then purposely look for something that's going to help you in the dream world.
Hmm.
Meditate before you go to sleep, cut your cords, and go there.
Right.
And you
Dreaming
don't
is
have
a
to,
whole other
oh,
ball of
yeah,
wax,
yeah.
right?
And
So,
you don't have to be meditative. Like, I don't know if you, like, anybody who has kids is going to understand what I'm saying right here. Do you remember when your child was a toddler and they were up all night long and there was two or three of them running around and it was like so loud and you were just so tired and you had a headache because it'd been a long day the day before too. So you're laying down on the couch, they're playing their, with their toys and whatnot, and they're in the same room with you
mhm,
and you're not asleep, but your eyes are closed.
yes.
And you're totally relaxed,
Hmm.
totally at peace, but you can still hear everything that's going on in the room.
Hmm.
That's how I feel meditation is. Because
Good,
you're in a
good
different
analogy.
place.
Hmm.
So if anything out of the ordinary happened in that moment, your
Hmm.
eyes would pop open.
Yeah.
So you're not asleep.
Hmm.
So it's just in that stage before. That's what I tell people: the stage before sleep
Yeah. Yeah.
is where you
Exactly.
need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same with hypnosis, right? People think that hypnosis is some magical, or thing that, or something that they do to
It
you. But hypnosis is actually just a stage. It's a state, I
happens
mean.
all the time.
Yeah, you're in hypnosis, hello, within a few seconds, watching television or being watching a video online. I hate to tell everyone,
Exactly.
but you go into a
Repetitive
state of hypnosis.
advertising.
Yeah, like you're
Everything.
you're in a trance, right? And
Everything.
they know that, just so you know. So
Hmm.
you do go into a state of hypnosis, and when you're in a state of hypnosis, things go right into your unconscious mind,
Yes.
and so that's how the programming works. I mean, that's just the truth, right? That's a fact.
A big
So,
thing about that is to try to decalcify your pineal gland.
so you have so that you can discern,
Yes,
right, that which
yes,
is coming in, and you can discern with your intuition,
yep,
right, that which is true,
hmm,
resonates,
yep,
yeah, like whether or not the person standing in front of you is lying to you, things like that.
hmm,
Like those are the kinds of things
yep,
that you can develop, right? I mean, these are things that you can
definitely,
develop, easy things to do. I mean, you just got to do it.
yep, definitely,
Yeah, just got to do
yep,
it.
yeah. I started with oil pulling first
Mm-hmm.
to get away from commercial toothpaste.
Uh-huh.
Did oil pulling for quite a while. And then I only buy toothpaste that are natural now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
use any other kind. Um, I I go back and
Because of
forth
the fluoride.
because of the fluoride, so nothing with
Yeah.
fluoride. And then I was finding that even the natural ones are like,
Mm-hmm.
do you really want it?
Questionable.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now I found a recipe for it. It had like baking soda and coconut oil and essential oils.
Mm-hmm.
It's makes your mouth clean
Mm-hmm.
and there's no fluoride. so
Yeah.
so
And
it's
the
a,
reason, just for anyone who doesn't know that's watching, the reason that you would not want to put fluoride into your body is, well, it does lots of things. But one of the things that it does is, what does it do, Krista?
calcifies the pineal. So basically, it's building a shell right around your pineal,
Yeah.
which is supposedly shaped like a pine cone. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a shell around it. That's our center where we get our psychic information. It's
Mm-hmm.
where we hold our empathy for people.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember back in the day when people were doing lobotomies, where were they? Where was it going? Where was it going? Right into the pineal
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Because
it's
if they can shut down,
zombie.
yeah, that's right. You're practically a zombie. If they can shut down the pineal gland, then you're disconnected, right?
Yeah,
From, like you said, from your own psychic information, from
yeah,
feeling connected to other
and
people.
from
Yeah.
source.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
from source,
Absolutely.
this is how we connect with creator,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
And also it can cause like headaches and stuff like that too if it's too calcified, like there is
Mm-hmm.
symptoms from it.
Sure.
So it's better just to get away from it. And my granddaughter has started, she's never had fluoride.
Wonderful.
We do the all natural thing, like she's gonna be 4 this year, so
Well, and the
so
other thing too is it's not just in toothpaste. That's just one source, right?
yes,
Fluoride
when you know better you
is in
do
a lot of
better.
water. Yeah, that's right. Fluoride is in a lot of water sources, right? Municipal
Ours
water
was it was
sources.
in here in the water here. They took it
Yeah,
out after I moved here.
yeah.
It was in the water. I'm like, and here's what I couldn't understand. Certain water causes tooth decay in children. It just does. So I find in Alberta, I don't know why, like more so than New Brunswick, children have a lot of problem with their teeth. So
Really hard water, maybe.
if they're given fluoride and then they're using fluoride in all their toothpaste and whatnot, how come they're worse off than other people who are doing the same?
That's right.
You know what
Because
I mean?
fluoride
Like,
doesn't.
so
It's
obviously it's not the fluoride doing it, right?
no.
It's not the fluoride that's protecting you.
Yeah, fluoride is a waste product too, from an industrial waste product, actually. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's lots and lots of reasons that you would want to avoid getting fluoride into your body. But from in the context of this conversation, absolutely, fluoride is a way to calcify your pineal gland, which, like we said, is your connection to source, and it's your
Hmm.
psychic connection. It's your, it's how you discern, right? You filter, basically. It's how you
Yeah, for
filter
sure.
everything. Yeah.
Yep,
So it's super, super important to make sure you're not doing such things to your pineal
exactly.
gland or your body in general. You shouldn't have fluoride put in it. But anyway.
Yep. So, does anybody have any questions? Is there anybody
Yeah, if
here
anyone
even?
has
I
any
can't
questions,
see.
they can,
It
yeah,
doesn't
people
show
can.
me if there's people.
Yep, there are. There absolutely are. I
So
mean,
if any,
yeah, like Krista's totally open to taking questions. So if anyone has a specific question
even
about,
later on,
yeah,
I have my name here, Krista Curtis at Zen Conscious. If you
yeah.
look the Zen Conscious up on Facebook, you can totally message me there,
Hmm.
and also through Krista Curtis. Um, yeah, anything you need to ask,
The Zen
I'm
Conscious
pretty
group is
open.
great, and Krista's really good. She's always putting stuff up there that's interesting to read or to look at, and very, very responsive. I do know that for a fact. So
Yes.
if you did have a question and you messaged her through the group, she would certainly get back to you. But I encourage people to join it too, because they'll learn a lot just by being in the group. And like you said, I mean, when you are part of a group, I mean, this is the
It's
good part
support.
about things like Facebook. Okay. Like, listen, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things I don't like about Facebook, let's face it, or social
Mm-hmm.
media in general. But it does provide an opportunity for people to come together and
Mm-hmm.
learn from one another and share, and
Exactly.
and access people that you wouldn't learn or you wouldn't meet
From everywhere,
from all
all
over
over
the
the
world,
world.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just we
It's
need
like
to
we
we
find
need
each
to
other
just
and we're drawn to each other.
yes, absolutely. And the thing is that we also need to just not let that substitute for being in each other's presence, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so we
Exactly.
need to
And you
remember that
still have to
too.
be careful too, because even if it says it's a spiritual group
Mm,
and you get there and you see something that feels wrong to you or off,
yeah,
or you think somebody said something or whatever that you think doesn't really align with your values, leave the
hmm,
page,
yeah.
because there's always going to be one that's going to align with you 100%.
Oh,
You
yes,
just
and
have to
there's
find the
loads
right
of
one.
groups to pick from. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay,
So if
so
you
here's
can't
what I
find,
want to do. Here's what I want to do, Krista. Okay,
okay,
because I am going to have to take off here in a minute because
I
yeah, we
know.
have to head to town. But here's the thing: I would like you to leave people with a I know you mentioned earlier what are good stones for grounding, because right
Hmm.
now it is super important for people to be doing a lot of grounding. There's no
Yes.
question.
Yep.
I personally do a visualization for grounding where I'll visualize the energy coming in through the crown of my head.
Yep.
It's very simple, right? And I
Yep.
send it right down through my body and I push it right down into the earth, to the middle of the earth. I picture like
Hmm.
those roots, like you talked about,
Yep.
and then
Latching
I'll
on.
invite, yeah, and then I'll invite that earth energy to come back up into my
Hmm.
body and just go everywhere, right? And I love
Yeah.
opening up my heart, right? But I love that grounding process. And the other piece for me too is I love going outside and putting my bare feet on the ground,
Hmm.
right? And
In the
just
grass. Feels
feeling,
good.
oh, it just, even if it's cold out, sometimes it's just really
Oh,
nice to just go out. Even in
sometimes
the
that cold
snow, I've
dirt
done it.
feels good on the feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally, totally. So that's another way that we can ground. You mentioned some crystals that people can use to specifically ground. Can you mention those again, just for
Um,
anybody who missed the beginning?
most of your black stones would be effective.
Okay,
Red jasper, you've got your black tourmaline, you've Apache tear can ground you out. Um, obsidian, bronzite is good for grounding, but it's also good for repelling and bouncing back energy.
right.
Um, oh, there's
Yeah,
so many grounding stones.
sure.
And if you're unsure too, if you have a stone, say, um, type in, is smoky quartz a grounding stone?
Hmm.
It'll come up on Google. So you can ask
Ah, okay.
specifically, or you can ask what specific chakra it's for, or you
Hmm.
can ask what, earth, wind, fire, water, which element it's
Hmm.
for, or
Yeah.
even which zodiac it's for.
And it's great to look these things up, especially like you said, as validation after you felt drawn to a
After you
certain
vet it. Yeah.
stone, right? Because
You
that's
don't go
practicing
looking for a
trust it,
stone.
right?
Yeah. Because
The stone will
you're
find you.
you're
Yes.
discerning what you need
Right. Right.
by feel.
Yes. And that is such
And the
an
more you do
important
it,
piece.
the better you'll get at it.
Absolutely. You have to
Yeah.
cultivate that skill, right? I mean, we
Hmm.
all have it. It's just some of us have it is a little more developed than others,
Yeah,
right?
for
Like
sure.
like I'm an intuitive consultant. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
We're all intuitive. It
And
just so
I'm
happens that
not
I've
an
cultivated
expert
it.
either. The
Mhm.
only reason I'm where I'm at right now is because I'm doing it since 2012. So it's not
Right.
like it was just a magical thing where I woke up and now I know everything that I'm telling you. It's a matter of I kept on it. This interests me. I need to look it up. This interests me. I need to look it up.
Mhm.
Ooh, this is a pretty stone. What is this? I want one of those. Right? Like you have to want the information.
Sure.
You have to have the
Absolutely.
want to know.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
And it's
when
all
you're at the
there.
point where I know there's more, I just don't know what it is, then that's when you're ready to start your journey.
Mm, yes. because you're stepping into the opening,
Yeah.
right?
Your awareness is open.
Yes.
Your knowing
Yes.
is open.
Yes.
So now
And
you're
now you're
saying,
willing
okay,
to,
I'm ready.
yeah, yeah,
I'm here and I'm ready.
yeah.
Bring
But
it
be
on.
careful when you do that, because you know what they say, careful what you wish for. And that's
It,
because, and we both have done it, right? When
mm-hmm.
you open yourself up, you better be prepared, because you might not necessarily love the information that you get.
You can't turn it off. You can only turn it down.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can only
That's right.
you can only lower the volume, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's there, it's there. You can't unsee what you saw.
But you know what? It's not something to be afraid of, is it? It
No,
really
it's
isn't.
not. No, no.
No,
And the
tapping
more
into your
fear you have,
intuition, don't be afraid of it. Like, welcome it. Really
at
welcome it.
first, I had a
Yeah.
hard time block. I had to, anything that felt off to me, I'd block it, block the energy, turn away from the energy. But then I noticed that I was also blocking the good stuff, because if it felt weird or unknown to me, I would automatically block it.
Mm-hmm.
But that also comes with practice, because then you'll be able to know which of the energies are resonating with you, and not necessarily bad, just not as more lowercase than yours. So anybody that's lower than your level of energy is going to feel bad to you. That doesn't mean they're bad.
No.
That means that the energy is just lower than yours.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
So
There you go.
that's a discernment thing also.
Yeah. But again, it's something you've had to work at. It's something you've had to
Yes.
practice. It's something you've had
Yes.
to, me too, right? Like, we've had to really work to develop it. But it's a beautiful thing when you do. Like, it truly,
It
truly
is.
is.
It is
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. So
Okay.
you
And I
guys
just
have
want to
yourself a
note
good
that
day. Oh,
I just want to mention here that Yari mentioned just listening to advanced Merkaba lesson if Aurora Flying Rainbow is on you. What? I'm not really following that, but at least it's there, right? If anyone wants to check that out. But I just want to say thank you, Krista,
thank you.
for being willing to start doing these Soul Sister cafes with me. You really, like, I kind of had to push you a little bit, but then I think that you actually were the one who finally said, all right, let's
I'm
do it.
ready.
I'm ready.
And
And
that's been a lot. That's been a long time. I've been pushed quite a few times,
yes, yeah,
and I knew I couldn't handle it, but now I can. I'm ready.
yeah,
I'm ready for this to.
yes.
So when I'm talking to you, I'm just talking to you, and I'm just pretending that you and I on a phone call.
Oh, there you go.
That's the only way I'm
Right.
getting through this.
But that's the thing, and this is the important piece, right? Everything comes
Yeah.
in divine timing. If we try to force things too soon, and we're forcing, and we just keep bucking up against, that
Yeah, for
resistance,
sure.
that
Yeah.
might just be a sign, guys, that back off.
It's not
Just
time.
back off. You're not
It's
in the
not time.
flow. You're trying
You'll
to
know when
force
it's time.
something. That's right. That's right.
When
Absolutely.
it's time, it'll hit you just like it.
Yes.
You'll just feel like bam, there it is.
There you
That's how
go.
it
There you
hits.
go.
Like
Yeah,
when you have the
totally.
realization of something that is for you, you will know.
Yes, that's right. And again, that comes with learning to trust what you feel, right?
Definitely.
Learning to
And
trust what you feel.
not what someone tells you you should feel.
That's right.
We're relearning everything.
Yes, we are. We absolutely are. I'm excited about the future. I don't know about anybody else,
I
but
am
I'm
too. Like
excited. I think
I'm
there's a
thinking
lot of
like
shit to come.
I think there's a lot of goodness that's going to come out of this
Yep.
spiritually
Yes.
for the spiritual community, because
Yes.
we are depending more on each other, and a whole bunch of people are noticing and wanting to get involved.
Yes. And it might still require us to wade through some heavy muck, right? To get
Mm-hmm.
there, to get to that other
Just
side.
bring your shovel.
But yeah, just there you go, right? But it's okay. Nobody ever said it was
Yeah.
easy, right?
No, it's
Growing
not.
and transforming and developing and, exploring and all that. It's not necessarily easy, but it can be fun.
Yeah,
It can
for
be.
sure.
Yeah. And
It
that's
can be
all in your
fun.
attitude, right?
Yeah.
It's all in how
And
you look at it.
yeah, so we should continue to do this. Any
Yes, we
ideas from
absolutely
anybody would be great. If not,
yes.
we'll come up with something and you'll enjoy it.
We are
You will like
totally
it.
open to receiving your suggestions.
Yes, for sure. Because Because even if you're too shy to ask one-on-one, this is a perfect
Yes,
opportunity to figure it out. Because you
totally.
got two women here who are
Hmm.
intuitive and also a community of people watching.
Yep.
What better
Yeah,
way to find out your answers?
exactly. And if we don't have the answers, somebody in the community may,
Definitely
right?
somebody will
Yeah,
know for sure.
totally.
Yep.
Because like you said, we're just facilitating this, right? So,
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Definitely.
So, and we're just hoping to like plant some seeds, right? Just plant some
Yep.
seeds and get the discussion going and just get people thinking differently, and just
Yes, for sure.
start to explore themselves, really.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what we need.
that's what we need. Okay, my
That's what
dear.
we need.
So we will say adios for this session of Soul Sister
Yes.
Cafe with Krista and Ava. And like we
Yes. It was
said, if you
fun.
have any suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Reach
Ooh.
out to Krista or I. What's this? Ooh,
Or if
or
you want to do a live and everybody can join us on the live,
yeah, can we do
like a
that?
group chat. I don't know. I don't
Well,
even know how to do this.
well, I use StreamYard, but I mean, if we can't do that on StreamYard, where people can
You can do
actually
it on
join,
Zoom.
yeah, like we could just set up a time, like a special,
Yeah.
a special one where we say, okay, this one we're going to do, I guess with Zoom. I don't know how that would work. Anyway, we'll figure it
Yeah, for
out.
sure.
Where there's a
Okay.
will,
You have
there's a
yourself a
way.
good day.
Hey, you
See
too.
you.
Love you, my dear.
Bye.
See you
You too.
later.
See
Bye.
you. Bye.